In this lesson, we will focus on Task 5, 3.1 inches Project 3, which involves the support layout of the double support boring fixture. The double support boring fixture is widely used in the field of machining, and the rationality of its support layout directly affects the accuracy, efficiency, and quality of the boring process. We will delve into the types, characteristics, and design principles of the support layout for double support boring fixtures, as well as relevant application cases. Additionally, we will integrate ideological and political elements, allowing everyone to grasp the concepts behind the development of China's manufacturing industry while learning professional knowledge. Overview of double support boring fixture. The double support boring fixture is an important type of boring fixture that plays a crucial role in boring operations. Boring is a high-precision hole machining method commonly used for processing precise hole systems in various mechanical parts. The double support boring fixture features two boring fixture brackets that guide the boring bar. The position accuracy of the boring bar is ensured by the fixture, independent of the machine tool spindle's accuracy. It is often used in situations where the bore diameter is large, high machining precision is required, and tool changes are inconvenient. By arranging the supports reasonably, the double support boring fixture provides stable support for the boring bar, ensuring its rotational accuracy and rigidity, thereby enhancing the precision and quality of the boring process. Types of support layouts for double support boring fixtures. Front and rear single support layout. The front and rear single support layout is a relatively common form in double support boring fixtures. In this layout, the front and rear ends of the boring bar are each supported by a single support. The front support is usually close to the cutting tool and primarily serves to guide the boring bar and bear the cutting forces, while the rear support is mainly used to enhance the rigidity and stability of the boring bar. The advantages of this layout are its simple structure, ease of manufacturing and installation, making it suitable for machining hole systems with smaller diameters and shorter distances between holes. For example, when machining holes on small mechanical parts, the front and rear single support layout can meet the processing requirements at a lower cost. However, the front and the rear single support layout also has certain limitations. Since the boring bar has only two support points, it is prone to deformation due to cutting forces during the machining process. This deformation is particularly evident when machining large diameter, deep or long holes, which can affect machining accuracy. Front and rear double support layout. The front and rear double support layout is developed based on the front and rear single support layout. In this configuration, the front and the rear ends of the boring bar are each supported by two supports. Compared to the front and rear single support layout, the front and rear double support layout increases the number of support points, thereby enhancing the rigidity and stability of the boring bar. The front and rear double support layout can better withstand cutting forces and reduce deformation of the boring bar, making it suitable for machining hole systems with larger diameters and longer distances between holes. For example, when machining holes on large engine blocks, the front and the rear double support layout can effectively ensure the precision and quality of the boring process. However, the front and the rear double support layout has a relatively complex structure, making manufacturing and installation more challenging and costly. Additionally, due to the greater number of support points, there are higher demands on the precision of the supports and installation accuracy. Otherwise, it may affect the rotational accuracy of the boring bar. Design principles for the support layout of double support boring fixtures. Ensure the rigidity and the stability of the boring bar when designing the support layout for double support boring fixtures. The primary consideration is to ensure the rigidity and stability of the boring bar. This requires the reasonable selection of the type, number, and position of supports so that the boring bar can withstand cutting forces during the machining process without undergoing excessive deformation. For example, for a long boring bar, to enhance its rigidity, a front and rear double support layout can be used, with an appropriate increase in the length and diameter of the supports. Additionally, the installation accuracy of the supports must be ensured with suitable clearance between the supports and the boring bar to avoid affecting the rotational accuracy of the boring bar due to excessive or insufficient clearance. Reduce the impact of cutting forces on the boring bar. Cutting forces are a significant factor affecting the deformation of the boring bar and the machining accuracy. When designing the support layout, efforts should be made to minimize the impact of cutting forces on the boring bar. This can be achieved by reasonably arranging the position of the supports so that the direction of the cutting forces aligns with the direction of the support, thereby reducing the deformation of the boring bar under load. For example, when machining holes, the direction of the cutting forces should ideally point towards the supports to prevent the cutting forces from causing bending or twisting of the boring bar. Additionally, auxiliary supports or guiding devices can be used to further reduce the impact of cutting forces on the boring bar. Facilitate manufacturing, installation, and adjustment the design of the support layout for double support boring fixtures should also consider ease of manufacturing, installation, and adjustment. The structure of the supports should be as simple as possible, with good manufacturability to reduce manufacturing costs. At the same time, the installation and adjustment of the supports should be convenient, allowing for timely adjustments of the position and clearance of the supports during the machining process to ensure the rotational accuracy of the boring bar. For example, using a modular design for the support structure can facilitate easy manufacturing and installation. Additionally, adjustment devices such as shims and bolts can be incorporated to allow for fine-tuning of the supports during installation and use. Practical application case of double support boring fixture layout. Taking the boring process of an automobile engine block as an example. The engine block contains multiple precise hole systems that require very high machining accuracy. When machining these holes, a front and rear double support boring fixture layout is typically used. Practical application case of double support boring fixture layout. Double support boring fixture. Example 1. Schematic of boring fixture for lathe, tailstock, hole 1, tailstock, 2 boring sleeve, 3, 4 positioning plates, 5, 8 pressure plates, 6 clamping screw, 7 adjustable support pin, 9 boring bar, 10 floating joint. By reasonably arranging the position and number of supports, the rigidity and stability of the boring bar are ensured, effectively reducing the impact of cutting forces on the boring bar, thereby improving machining accuracy. At the same time, to facilitate manufacturing, installation, and adjustment, a modular design is used for the supports and adjustment devices are incorporated, making the installation and the tuning of the boring fixture more convenient and efficient. Integration of ideological and political elements. The symmetrical layout of the double support boring fixture reflects the principle of mechanical balance, akin to the balanced development of introduction, digestion, and innovation in China's manufacturing industry. In the development process of China's manufacturing sector, introducing advanced foreign technologies and equipment is like one of the supports in a double support boring fixture, providing a foundation and support for the development of China's manufacturing industry. Digesting and absorbing these advanced technologies is akin to further optimizing and improving the introduced technologies, just like adjusting and optimizing the supports to enhance their effectiveness. And innovation is the development of new technologies and products with independent intellectual property rights, based on introduction and digestion, and tailored to China's actual conditions. This is similar to how the double support boring fixture continuously improves machining accuracy and efficiency while maintaining balance. Only by achieving balanced development in introduction, digestion, and innovation can China's manufacturing industry remain invincible in international competition. This is similar to how a double support boring fixture must ensure the rationality and balance of its support layout to guarantee the precision and quality of the boring process. In this lesson, we conducted an in-depth discussion on the support layout of double support boring fixtures. We first introduced the concept and the function of double support boring fixtures, followed by a detailed explanation of the characteristics and applicable scopes of both front and rear single support layouts and the front and rear double support layouts. We then elaborated on the design principles of the support layout for double support boring fixtures, which include ensuring the rigidity and stability of the boring bar, reducing the impact of cutting forces on the boring bar, and facilitating manufacturing, installation, and adjustment. Through the case study of the boring process of an automobile engine block, we learned about the application of double support boring fixture layouts in actual production. Finally, we integrated ideological and political elements by linking the symmetrical layout of the double support boring fixture with the balanced development of introduction, digestion, and the innovation in China's manufacturing industry. I hope that through this lesson, everyone will be able to master the relevant knowledge of double support boring fixture layouts and apply it flexibly in practical applications.